Great. So thank you, John, to being here. We got around 400 or 500 people in the room, so thanks for accepting the invitation.
You're very welcome.
All right. So, like we talked earlier, we just want to know, like, your concept of InfoSec and everything related to this. So we got a couple of questions, and we will take questions with the crowd in a few minutes. All right.
That's fine.
Perfect. So, first question, which we recently know that you're running for president, which is awesome. We want to know how much your campaign will be related to InfoSec. What is your point of view related to this?
Well, I would say the majority. I believe that as well as our security, our information security is extremely lacking. We have here in America some major hacks. Our Office of Personnel Management, where 20 million records were taken of every government employee for the past 50 years, including our top secret cleared employees. Our response was nothing. Because we had no response. We are not prepared for cyber warfare. We are not prepared for cyber attacks. In spite of the fact that we have a massive number of personnel who are assigned to cyber warfare and cyber security here in America, we are way behind. And not because America is way behind, but because our government is way behind.
Yeah. So, related to this, what do you think the biggest threats against your country and even all companies around the world? What is the biggest InfoSec threats to you?
Well, I think the biggest threat is the fact we just understand how insecure we are because of the device that we pulled up here. It's a smartphone. Smartphones are designed with one purpose in mind, and that is to gather information. That's how companies make money. It's how Google makes money. It's how Apple makes most of their money. This is the sale of information. So these devices are architecturally structured to allow applications to find where we are, what we're doing, who we're with, what we're buying, where we've been, everything about us. And when you download an application, there are a few applications that are free that stay within the bounds that they need in terms of the permissions we give them. Here in America, we have Bible reading applications, which are very popular here in the South. They can take a passage from the Bible, and a voice synthesizer will read to you. Now, all it needs is access to your speaker. Every one of them, they demand access to the microphone, the camera, your email, your SMS messages, and the ability to make phone calls. And all of the information is gathered and sent to a phone. Family. I should know something. Should be aware. We allow spyware into our lives on a smartphone. We take these smartphones to the office to access our office email. It's insane. And yet, how do you stop Pandora's box? The world and how to stuff them down. I don't think it's possible. We have to change the way that we this.
You're cutting.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Well, the first thing we have to do is realize that we need to educate ourselves and educate the populace. Within the government, certainly our secure installations, I will ban the use of smartphones in the workplace until we can figure out a way to use them in a safe manner. If you have spyware on your phone, for example, and you're using email at your office, that email is compromised. Everything that you do, every keystroke is being monitored. This is what people do not understand. If you have more than 10 applications on your phone, I guarantee you're being spied on. Now, it may be for a benign purpose. They may maybe just want to sell you something, which is fairly benign. You don't have to buy it, but you don't know. It may be two students in China who don't have your best interest in heart and who are passing information to the government. so that everything you do at work is the same thing that everything you do at home. It's being watched and monitored. So within the government, until we figure this out, we will have to simply ban the use of smartphones within the office. Now, I anticipate this being a temporary measure. Additionally, well, our major threat in terms of national security is China, and China and Russia. They work together. Now, in America, we've passed laws to allow our government to monitor our native population by accessing Google, Facebook, Twitter, and all of our companies. That does no good whatsoever. China has its own Facebook. They have their own browser. They have their own Twitter. It will do no good whatsoever to monitor American citizens or Canadian citizens, or like in England, it's getting really bad. It does no good whatsoever for national security because our greatest threats are immune to the laws that we enact. So we have to pick up our own cyber warfare capabilities. We have to weaponize software just like China and Russia have weaponized their software. That is a very large problem, is that the management, in order to become secure in the cyber world, requires a great deal of money, effort, and time. Companies are not willing to pay this. But in Canada, you had a hack just recently on Avid Life Media, which owned Ashley Madison. That company is virtually insolvent now due to lawsuits and other chaos due to a hack. Now, what is the balance here? Do you spend the hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade your systems to be secure, or do you risk disappearing as a company? And when we talk about nations, we cannot risk disappearing as a nation. We cannot allow another nation to become so superior to ourselves in cyber science and cyber warfare that we risk simply disappearing. China could push a button today and we would lose all of our electricity. This is a known fact. Why they haven't done it is anybody's guess. But we have to we have to pay the money. We have to do the work and take the time. Else everybody is at risk of completely dissolving. I think that Canada is in the same position that America is in. I don't believe that your cybersecurity is any better than ours, and I know that ours is terrible. We have in America some of the greatest talent in the world. I attend DEF CON every year, which is a collection of hackers, both white hat and black hat. About 50,000 of them collect in Las Vegas every year. This is a huge talent pool. Yet what we as a government do is we turn them into bad people. You're bad. You hack. You do terrible things. Chris Roberts, for example, who's a close friend of mine, who was detained because of accusations that he took control of his United Airlines flight earlier this year. Whether he did or not is not the issue. What he was trying to do was to point out the flaws within our airline systems, and it's a terrible flaw. He was able to hack in using the entertainment system and gain control of an airplane. Now, we need to know these things. Government needs to know these things. We should make these people heroes, not villains. And this is the fundamental problem. Until the government changes its attitude and realizes that this talent pool is its only hope. This pool of tremendously talented hackers is our only salvation. We need to get rid of the old, tired, and sick management and the sick technology we have, and hire the younger, newer talent from this hacking pool. It's going to be a very difficult bullet to bite, and you in Canada will have to bite that same bullet. This morning I'm using an Android, but I use a variety of smartphones. The most secure phone I use is a flip phone. It's a dumb phone. Why? Because it is impossible, given the current architecture, Android and iOS, to maintain security. The architecture allows applications to gain access to your private information. It does that because this information, according to Microsoft, which did a study earlier this year, is worth about $1,000 per person here in America, probably the same in Canada. That's a lot of money and information, and that is where our economy is heading. Information is now the commodity of exchange. That has to change. It has to change if we're to remain secure. Or if information is going to continue to be the commodity of exchange, it needs to be done in a more secure environment. There is nothing more secure about Android or iOS. They are both insecure. I use it because it runs Skype. I'm using Skype now. My dumb phone won't do that. But I'm smart enough to know that even now, I am probably being watched, as are you, by a dozen different entities. You have to. If you've got a bunch of applications on your phone, the majority of these applications have permissions to spy on you. You sign off on these permissions when you accept the terms and conditions of the application. You should check these out. It would frighten you. I do. I change email. I've got about 40 different email accounts. Why? Because it is impossible to maintain security in email, because the email is used on these smartphones. So if you have a keystroke logger, it doesn't matter what sort of encryption you use, as long as you have to input a password or an ID, that password is being passed to somebody else. This is the problem. So the solution is awareness. We have to smarten ourselves. Okay. And to examine that question, what cloud service is the most secure? What is a cloud? A cloud is a collection of servers that are located God knows where, owned by God knows who. How can you possibly have security in a cloud where you do not know where your information is being stored, who is managing that information, and who has access to it? These are things that have been created. Right, it's the cloud. The cloud is always someone else's computer, somebody else's server, and you don't know who. This is the problem. How can you possibly have security at all where you do not know where your data is or who is managing that data? Think about it. They're using the same facilities that you use. They're using the same communications channels. So there can't be any security in a cloud. You are buying the marketing pitch of large companies. You're buying Google's marketing pitch. They say, for example, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. This is exactly what Adolf Hitler told the people back in 1935. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear, so open yourselves up and let us in. No, we can't do that. We have to have our privacy. We cannot operate as a society without privacy. Privacy, you may not even think about this, but you choose privacy 100 times a day. When you go to the grocery store and you check out your food, you may say hello to the clerk, or you may say it's a nice day. You're not going to tell them the intimate details of your life. And you have various friends. Some friends know some things about you, others know something else. You vary your privacy depending upon your relationship hundreds of times per day. If you did not have that choice, we would have chaos. Because if everyone knew everything about everyone else, we would have riots in the streets. And you know this is true. We keep our secrets so that we can keep culture sane. Here's the problem with the Department of Homeland Security. We don't really know anything about what they're doing. We have reached a point where, here's the problem. Governments started out serving. Now they are monitoring and managing. I don't need a mother or a father in a government. I'm a grown man, as many of you in this room are grown people. You do not need people telling you what to do. The government should open itself completely, and the people should have privacy. But it's reversed. The people have privacy, and the government have no clue what they're really doing. We only know what they tell us. And we know for a fact that what they tell us is disinformation. So this is the fundamental problem, not what DHS is doing about anything, but what is DHS doing at all? What is the reality here? We have to take control back as people. Governments are to serve, not to manage, not to tell us what to do. You're intelligent people. You have to be. You're in a group of technologists. You're intelligent enough to manage your own life. So you need to take control of that life and take it back from the government. Of course, privacy matters. It has. Do you want everyone to know the private things that you do with your wife or your husband tonight? Do you want them to know what you tell your children when you give them private advice, when your child is in trouble, and they come to you and they say, Dad or Mom, I did something really wrong. Help me. Well, do you want everybody watching that conversation? Do you want them involved? Do you want them to even know that the conversation is happening? Of course not. We have to have privacy between father and son and mother and daughter and husband and wife and friend and friend. Without it, we have chaos. You need to see this. You need to understand this. If you do not understand this, we are lost. We are lost. Well, people keep asking, did Snowden do good or bad? Is he a hero or is he a traitor? Here's the question. Did we need to know what he told us? The answer is obviously yes. We need to know when we are being spied on. We need to know when we are being deceived. If we do not know these things, we are in the dark. We are lost. Snowden has to be pardoned. He is a patriot. Of course he did the right thing. He told us what we had to know, which is our government is spying on its own citizens illegally. Of course we have to know that. I think it's not a matter of transparency. I think it's a matter of principle. It's a matter of perspective. Government needs to get back to its core purpose, which is to serve the people, to build our roads and our schools, and to provide a national defense. Government was not designed to tell us what to do and how to do it. It was not designed for this purpose. Government was designed to serve the needs of the people who were governed. That is us. That's us. So the principle is not more transparency, it's less power. Government used to be, the president of America used to be an office of service. Our first president, George Washington, did not want to be president. He had to be forced into the position, kicking and screaming, no, I don't want to do this. Why? Because it was a hard job with no power. That's the way it should be. What is it now? It's an easy job with all the power. And we are the ones who have lost the power. The power has to be with us, the individuals. I'm sorry, repeat the question. It went away. IoT, give me the words. I'm not familiar with IoT. Oh, Internet, I'm sorry, obviously. Okay, now here's the problem with the Internet of Things. I went to DEF CON a couple of months ago in Las Vegas, and I listened, one of the discussions I listened to was about the Brinks Smart Safe. Now, Brinks is America's largest safe manufacturer. They build bank safes, vaults that are 6 feet solid steel. Great, best safes in the world. They came out with a thing called the smart safe, a safe that couldn't be opened except by very complex digital principles. It was hacked by a couple of teenagers immediately. Why? Because Brinks knows how to manufacture safes. It knows nothing about information security. Neither do the manufacturers of your refrigerators or your toasters or your automobiles. Automobile manufacturers know how to build cars. They don't know anything about information security, and the Internet of Things is the most insecure thing in the world. They're using off-the-shelf technology. Well, if you're using off-the-shelf technology, then I can get off-the-shelf things that can break into your technology. Here's the problem. Well, this is the problem. Do we even have enough talent in the world to make everything secure? From your televisions, to your toaster, to your refrigerator, to your washing machine, your stove, every electronic device that you have. Yes, there are just so many things, so many manufacturers. I don't think we have the talent to make it secure. And here's the issue. You can say, okay, I'm willing to live with that lack of security, meaning that your refrigerator is going to be talking to the grocery store, perhaps, saying, stop ordering milk for 2 weeks because there's nobody home. Well, great. Now, if that is not a secure connection, then everybody in the neighborhood knows that you're not going to be home. Maybe you're on vacation. That's a great time to break into your house at your leisure and take everything that you want. I could bring a furniture truck and remove everything from your house. Here's the issue. We don't understand exactly how insecure we have become. Our television sets are listening to the sound. Samsung has a TV that monitors all of your communication in the room. And in the manual it says, if you want to speak privately, go into a different room. This is the honest truth. This is how crazy it has become. Can we live with this? And if we can't, what can we do about it? It has to stop. We have to have some sort of way of saying, okay, it's great. I have a smart refrigerator that will order my food for me when it gets low. Is it worth the risk? That is the question. You as the individual can only answer it. I believe that every country very soon will have a cyber party, and the cyber party will be the main party. We will not have another conventional war. What is the point of sending bombs over to America or to China, where someone can simply push a button and do exactly the same thing? The electromagnetic pulses, for example, you can buy on Amazon EMP devices that you can push a button and destroy all the electronics in your own room or anybody's room for $400. $400. And it's for sale on Amazon. This is where we are. We are selling weapons that we don't even understand are weapons. But if I destroy all of your infrastructure, I have done far worse than destroying all of the buildings in your cities. To do in well, that's a difficult thing. The first thing you have to do is educate yourself. The second thing you have to do is accept the reality that you have placed yourself in. I can sit here all day long and tell you that the applications that you have downloaded have created insecurity in your life. But until you accept that fact and do something about it, we just had a pleasant dinner conversation. Nothing has happened. You have to accept the truth of your reality. Do you want unknown people in the most intimate detail of your life? If you do, well, then do nothing. Continue on as we're doing. But if you don't, you have got to accept the fact that you have to make changes. You have to make changes. You have to understand this. If you've got to take the battery out of your phone, leave your phone inside a desk drawer when you go to bed with your wife, or you have to stop downloading applications that you absolutely do not need, and you have to start reading. You have to start reading the terms and conditions of these applications. I know it's an annoyance, but you must, because if you do, you will be horrified at what you have done to yourselves. It's talking. I disappeared too fast. I was talking. No, I think first and foremost yourself. Fix yourself. Then you've got to talk to the InfoSec community. To try to explain these things to a non InfoSec person is like nonsense. First of all, they do not understand the concepts. They don't understand the risks. They don't understand the principles. It is our responsibility. It is our job as InfoSec professionals to fix the problems that we ourselves have created. Google, number one. You know, I rant about Google constantly, but Google needs to accept their own responsibility. They've done tremendous things. They've given us access to the world's knowledge base. God bless you for that. But at the same time, you have given us a demon that we carry around with us in our pocket. You have to accept responsibility. You have to see what you have done to our privacy, and you have to change it. I can't go into Android and fix it. I can't go into Apple and fix iOS. Only they can do that. Sorry, I couldn't. All right. Good looking crowd. All right. Thank you, sir. All right.